Everyone tells us to stay positive, chase happiness, and never give up. But The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson completely flips that idea. I've read the first 4.5 chapters, and today I'm sharing the most brutally honest lessons, with real stories and quotes from the book, that made me rethink life. Lesson 1. You only have limited fucks to give. Mark talks about Charles Bukowski, a famous poet who was a drunk, a gambler, and a womanizer. He was poet on his worst days. He was rejected by publishers his whole life. When he finally got a chance to publish at age 50, he wrote his first novel in 3 weeks. It was called Post Office. In the dedication he wrote, "Dedicated to nobody." He would make it novelist and poet. He published 6 novels and hundreds of poems, selling over 2 million copies of his books. He is man fights for what he wants and never give up. He never stopped trying. That he didn't give a fuck about success even after his fame. He was honest with himself. It is strange that "don't try" written on his gravestone. Bukowski didn't care about being a successful writer in the traditional sense. He only cared about writing honestly about his problems. Takeaway for the video. We all have limited energy and attention. If you waste it on impressing people, gossip, or tiny problems, you'll never focus on what matters. Quote from the book. You only have so many fucks to give, so you must choose wisely. Lesson 2. Happiness comes from solving problems. Mark tells the story of Disappointment Panda, a made-up superhero who tells people uncomfortable truths about themselves that they needed to hear, but didn't want to accept. Like, if you want better relationships, you have to face your problems, not avoid them. The greatest truth in life are usually the most unpleasant to hear. The point: life is just a series of problems. Happiness doesn't come from no problems. It comes from solving meaningful ones. Takeaway for the video. Ask yourself, what problems am I willing to face? Instead of wanting no struggles, choose better struggles. True happiness occurs only when you find the problems you enjoy having and enjoy solving. Quote from the book. The desire for more positive experience is itself a negative experience. And paradoxically, the acceptance of one's negative experience is itself a positive experience. Lesson 3. Pain creates meaning. He uses the Jim Carrey story. How Carrey achieved fame, money, everything he dreamed of, but still felt depressed. He realized that chasing only pleasure doesn't give you meaning. The point: pain and sacrifice are necessary for growth. Without struggle, there's no value. Takeaway. Don't chase constant happiness. Ask instead, what pain am I willing to endure? That defines your life. Quote from the book. The more something threatens your identity, the more you will avoid it. Lesson 4. You're not special, and that's okay. Mark explains how our culture tells everyone they're extraordinary. But if everyone is special, then no one is. He gives the example of Dave Mustaine, a musician kicked out of Metallica. He went on to form Megadeth, sold millions of records, but he still considered himself a failure because he wasn't as big as Metallica. The point: constantly trying to prove you're extraordinary only makes you miserable. Takeaway. Accept being average. It's freeing because you stop comparing and start focusing on your own growth. Quote from the book. Maturity is what happens when one learns to only give a fuck about what's truly fuck-worthy. Lesson 5. Responsibility equals freedom. Mark shares the story of William James, known as the father of American psychology. As a young man, James was depressed and considered ending his life. Then he made a simple decision. For the next year, I'll accept 100% responsibility for everything that happens to me. No excuses. That choice transformed his life and career. The point: you can't control what happens, but you can control your response. Takeaway. Stop blaming circumstances, parents, or luck. Taking responsibility gives you power. Quote from the book. Taking responsibility for your life is the only thing that gives you real control. These 5 lessons from the first 4.5 chapters already hit me hard. The book doesn't sugarcoat life. It teaches you to stop wasting energy and start focusing on what actually matters. Do you want me to make part 2 after I finish the rest of the book? Comment below and let me know.